There is something profoundly human about the way Tapas Beijos captures the rhythms of ordinary life, with its laughter chaos and lingering melancholy. In the episode titled Cuando OX Beta Porta, the show manages to condense years of emotional evolution into 40 minutes of comedy that feels both playful and devastatingly sincere. Watching Sueli and Fatima navigate the sudden reappearance of a man from the past is like watching two actresses dance on the fine line between nostalgia and liberation. The title, When the Ex Knocks on the Door, is not merely a setup for another romantic misunderstanding. It is a metaphor for the ghosts we carry, the ones who knock when we least expect them, and force us to confront the fragments of ourselves that we thought we had outgrown. The episode begins with the kind of energy that defines Tapas and Beijos, the store-bustling conversations overlapping, and that characteristic Rio de Janeiro air sticky, with both heat and laughter. The costume shop where the two women work feels almost theatrical in itself, like a stage within a stage. Every outfit, every accessory mirrors the disguises that people wear in real life, the roles they play to survive heartbreak. When Sueli's ex suddenly reappears, the lighting changes subtly, the music slows down, and the rhythm of the dialogue falters for a moment, signaling that the past is now intruding into the present. There is a look in her eyes, that mix of confusion and longing that the camera captures in a long shot, framed by the clutter of the store, a perfect symbol of emotional messiness. What makes the scene powerful is not the ex himself, who remains a secondary figure, but how his presence acts as a trigger for Sueli's self-reflection. In Tapas and Beijos, relationships are not idealized. They are small storms of irony and tenderness. The show's genius lies in showing how people pretend to move on, yet always leave a door slightly open. I found myself thinking about my own experiences, those moments when a name appearing on a phone screen can bring back entire emotional landscapes. The series thrives on that familiarity. In one particularly memorable scene, Suli tries on a wedding dress that a client left behind. She twirls in front of the mirror, laughing at herself, but the laughter cracks halfway through, turning into silence. Fatima, ever the more pragmatic of the two, watches from the counter, holding her coffee cup like an anchor. It's an image that feels almost cinematic, where humor and pain intertwine without needing dialogue. Later, when the ex tries to apologize, the dialogue is simple yet brutally honest. He talks about timing, bad luck, and how life got in the way. Sueli listens but doesn't cry. The audience expects tears, reconciliation, or perhaps a dramatic confrontation, but Tapas and Beijos chooses a quieter resolution. She simply thanks him and goes back to work. It is a small act, but in its simplicity lies the strength of the show's feminism resilience wrapped in irony. The scene where she and Fatima later drink together, reflecting on how love changes with age, feels like a poem disguised as a conversation. They talk about men as if they were old songs that once made sense, but now only play in the background of the mind. There's an unspoken understanding that happiness might not be about finding the right partner, but about learning to live beautifully in one's own company. Tapas and Beijos always uses humor as a balm for heartbreak. The shop customers, the eccentric co-workers, and even the absurd misunderstandings keep the tone buoyant, but beneath the laughter lies a melancholy that is distinctly Brazilian, sweet, rhythmic, full of saudade. By the end, when the shop closes and the two friends walk home under the street lights, there's a sense of renewal. The past has visited, but it no longer defines them. Watching that final walk, I felt as though the show was whispering something universal. That closure doesn't come from others knocking at your door, but from deciding when to stop answering.